Welcome to another episode of Pitstop Fracas. I'm your host Mahad, and we're back with our review of the Mexican GP. And we're live for all the people on YouTube. If you're in the comments, please like, subscribe. If you're listening to this tomorrow or watching it tomorrow on YouTube, like and subscribe. There's no excuse. Put it, like and subscribe. Put a comment in. We love to see all of it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening on Spotify, please give us a 5-star review. Show us some love. And hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what you think about the pod. Let us think what you think about the episode. And let us know if you hate Anik. Let us know if you hate Anik.
Bro, everyone loves me. What's going on? Why hate Anik? Where's this coming from?
Hashtag hate Anik. As you can see, Anik has joined us today. Our first guest. How are you, bro?
Oh, I'm good, man. Great weekend. Yuki, DNF, Perez stinking it up, and Mercedes strategy going down the toilet. What a weekend, bro. How you keeping?
I'm all good, man. I noticed that Ferrari is a midfield team now, so there's a bit of joy there.
Who's a midfield team?
Essa Ferrari. Hashtag Essa Ferrari.
Okay. Yeah.
1 minute down. 1 minute down from the same Mercedes just laundering. But we'll speak about that. Chris, how we doing, brother? It's been a while.
I know I'm alive. I'm not just a bot on Twitter, just chatting shit. So yeah, it's all good. I'm good. How are you, brother?
I'm all good, man. You are still a bot. Anybody that follows us on Twitter, this is the guy that's terrorizing people with facts blended with agenda. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, it's all my agendas are based on it's facts. Just we spin it a little bit. We bend the truth, but we don't break it.
Our very own Dominic Cummings. Okay, shout outs to Chris. And Martz, shout outs to Martz. You're here, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right, not too bad. Yeah.
You look like you're not enjoying this season.
Huh?
You look like you haven't enjoyed this season.
Bruv, you know what it was, yeah? Well, you don't know I hate this sport anyway. The one thing I care about is not doing anything. It's been tough, man. It's been tough.
If you ever want to see the pain of a man in his eyes, just look at Martz right now, because prior to the season, this guy hates everything about F1. His hate list, yeah? His hate list is long.
It's long.
It's very long.
But
you're king of the haters.
And Vettel's on it about 4 times as well. So.
Oh, but you look, listen, I swear to God, if anybody goes back to the prediction episode all the way back in March, who's the only man that said Vettel's going to retire? That was your big prediction, Martz. The hate.
I have the vision. I'm like back to Raven.
All right, let's talk about a team that didn't have the vision. Yeah. Mercedes. So another weekend where it showed promise. Anik would call it practice hype, right? There was a lot of speed being shown on practice. It looked like they were going to match Red Bull over the weekend, and they were quite close in quality. Obviously, Max pulled it out and stuck it on pole, but we still had George Russell on the second row and Hamilton third place. And it looked like it was going to be a promising weekend for Mercedes. As it transpires, it didn't really go that way during the race. And it ended up P2 and P4 for Hamilton and Russell. But some may think that maybe it was an opportunity squandered. Back-to-back races now where they could have possibly won. I'm going to come to you first, Anik. What went wrong for Mercedes this weekend? Give us your thoughts.
I think everything up until Sunday, as per usual, went okay for them. I think at Sunday they just collapsed yet again. Starting P2, P3 gave them a great platform to launch a proper attack on Max. Not splitting the tie. We're going to the race, yeah? Yeah?
Go straight into it, bro.
Look, main meal. Let's go. Starting on the same set of tires and a medium set is just made zero sense to me. There, I think I read somewhere it gives having the soft tires on gives you like around 2 meter advantage on the start. At least split the strategy or split the tires so you can have a guy to go in and attack. We saw last year, 2021, P3 went to P1 by the end of the first corner. We're talking about Max Verstappen. So by at least switching the strategy, it might give you a little bit of an advantage. We know the toe is so powerful. And let's be honest, Mexico, history shows us the first lap is so critical, because once the field gets spread, it's a ball fest. And then coming down to the actual race itself, you know, they, to be fair enough, they tried their best with the strategy, but at the end of the day, the Red Bull was just too quick. I feel as though if you really want to go and attack and get that first race win, which is evaded them so far this season, you should have at least split the strategy at the start. And I think that's exactly where they went wrong. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's the closest they're going to get to a race win. So yeah, because I don't see them doing anything in the next two races.
Yeah, it looks difficult when you look at Brazil and Abu Dhabi if they're going to try to get a dub there. I think Mexico and the US Grand Prix was the biggest opportunities for them. They have gained a lot of time, especially on Red Bull over the last couple weeks, but just looks like another situation where it could, if they just got that strategy on point, they could have eked something out. Martz, do you think going on a hard tire was a disastrous decision when it got over to that tire changeover phase? We saw obviously Red Bull started on softs, went on to mediums, and just finished the race on those. Were they doing a bit too big brain? What was James Alphabet doing on that pit wall?
I don't know. What does he do?
Is he just there riding the coattails of Lewis Hamilton's successes?
Sorry, I don't even know what he does, man. Like, these men are useless. I think they threw away the race. I think what Anik said was right. They should have split the strategy. Someone had to make a sacrifice, so whether it be George or Lewis, whoever, someone had to make a sacrifice to get that win if they really wanted to win this season. And let's face it, you're not going to beat the Red Bull on raw pace, so you're trying to beat them in like a strategy or with pace. It's not going to work, is it? Like, they're always going to win that in that kind of area. You have to outsmart them, and someone's going to have to make a sacrifice to get that win, basically. And I feel like the medium hards should have been the sacrifice. So whoever went on the medium and hards, whether it's Lewis or George, that at least gives them the opportunity and forces Verstappen to pit again, and Mercedes to either do another stint on a softs right at the end, or they should have gone medium. I think medium soft was the better option for Mercedes. Even if you didn't want to start on the softs, start on the mediums. You do quite a bit of a longer stint. I personally would have pitted Lewis when Max went in. I would have pitted him literally as Max is going in. You know Max is going in. Pit Lewis as well. And gone on to another fresh set of mediums because they were matching for pace, and Lewis could have probably got him. And then even if Max did come up, Max would have had to forced to pit again. But this time he's coming up behind George, who will be on the hards. George can slow down Max. Lewis can go on softs if he has to get at him again. It's kind of, that's how I personally would have done it. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but I generally think strategy-wise, they kind of just messed it up as usual.
That's a bit of an elaborate tire strategy we've just said right now. So you said medium, and then softs for Lewis, and then medium hards for Russell, and then Russell has to park the bus.
Basically, yeah. As I said, someone had to take the. I think someone had to take the sacrifice because Checo was never going to be in the race. I'm sorry. Like,
Checo was there.
Yeah, he was there, but he was never in the race. Like, he was just like, how you be 2 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton for the whole race, and you're in a much faster car on soft tires as well. Huh?
Where's Russell?
On a better tire.
exactly, he was on a better tyre for the majority of the race, and he couldn't do nothing. I mean, Chris can answer better for George. I don't.
Yeah,
really,
let's leave that to Chris. Chris. What's going on with George? George started P2, everybody. Got overtaken by Hamilton and Perez on them opening stints. Was that an opportunity where you could have got Max at the line, or was it just a no-hoper from the beginning?
It was no hope because Max has a brain. He's not Bottas, who just bust it open for everyone. Max knew what he was doing. He covered the inside, forced George on the outside. Lewis's opportunity. Lewis saw a gap to get George, did it right away. There was no messing about. And obviously, George saw that it was Lewis and not any other guy. So he's like, yeah, I'm going to give this guy space. And then Checo went through. He even said it himself. He said, look, I'm going to give Lewis space. If it was anyone else, they're getting squeezed. So
I think that this is the problem with these two, man. They're not working together as a team. I think Lewis kind of compromised George's race by pushing him out wide a bit and forcing him off the track. It kind of, I mean, I know it's racing and everything in the first lap, but I think Lewis, there was no need to do that just yet. I think you're always going to get the better of George because you are the better driver and you have the better race pace. I feel like you build that gap and then you try to sort something out. You have to work together as a team if you want this win together. Like if you're part of the team first always. Like you're not playing for anything. Like I get you're both drivers and you want to win all the time, but you're not racing for anything apart from a race victory. And you should want that for your team more at this moment in time and think about the team first. And I don't think Lewis or George, but I think more Lewis on this part, in those opening laps, was thinking about the team. He was more thinking about getting in front of George. Me personally, I would have preferred if he just stayed behind George and not force him off the track, because I think that kind of hindered the rest of them in the race because it allowed Checo to overtake George as well in more easily than he probably would have if he had a bit more space. So that's what I will say.
Do you know what? I personally think this was one of those races. Obviously, Max is on pole. I think you definitely. George already said that if that wasn't Lewis, he was going to ram that guy off the road. Any other car on that first corner, he said it. The guy is in his terrorist era. He said, I would have rammed the car if it weren't Lewis. So we already knew the kind of aggression and intent. Even if, let's say, for example, Russell got him off the line or Hamilton got off the line, I think there was going to be a serious situation where Verstappen was just going to overtake him anyway because they were on softs and they were on mediums. So it was going to happen quite early. But in those scenarios, do you know what's so funny to me? I feel like in past years, if Red Bull were in Mercedes' situation, they win that race. Just from strategy alone. Because they would know exactly what they need to do to kind of win that scenario. And we've seen how Red Bull perform in Mexico in the past, that they can get one over on these guys. And I really just don't think when they're not a front runner, when Mercedes are not a front runner, that decision making goes to shit. Because if the strategy was to go long properly. Don't do this half go long that they're on. Because they even told Russell, yeah, we're going to go long. And they didn't go long because realistically, the best strategy was what Ricciardo was on. Ricciardo did like 37 laps on mediums and then slapped on softs and went to the end of the race. That was the correct strategy.
It was funny because that's what George told him to do. George was like,
that's what he wanted to do.
Long, go on soft. And then they boxed him like 5 laps later. I was like, the thing is, when he did that, I tweeted, oh yeah, George doing that thing where he does that big brain move, yeah, he's going to win out, yeah. Then they boxed, man. They put him on hard. I was like, his race is dusted. Like, it's done. Because, like, Lewis Hamilton is Lewis Hamilton. Like, never compare people to Lewis Hamilton, yeah. The guy's the GOAT for a reason. So when he was matching Max on the hards, yeah, I was like, that's just Lewis Hamilton doing Lewis Hamilton things, yeah. That's not how normal racing works. So I'm like, you need to go long. Okay, Max is catching George a second a lap, but he's looking after his tires. He can back up Max for like at least If Max catches him at the wrong time, he backs up Max and makes Max lose time. Lewis gets a bit closer before, Max gets to drive off again. But it's like, you got to try something. Them doing that half, not committing to a strategy, just messed George's race up. It blocked any chance of, Max being under any stress or pressure. It just flopped everything. And these Mercedes guys need to work on being aggressive and being smart.
And you know what? One thing that somebody was saying last week. So obviously they had the whole tyre situation with Hamilton going on hards and Leclerc and Max being on softs and stuff like that. And then everybody was like, "Oh, but Mercedes didn't have any mediums." And then in this race, people were like, "Oh, Mercedes didn't really have any like fresh softs or anything like that." Is this like decision making not being made like in practice sessions? Can you just not use those tires and have some tires for the race, please? Instead of just you having that excuse to saying, "Oh no, we don't have the tires, guys. We can't really do that strategy." Can you leave your options open when it comes to race day instead of using them in practice sessions?
Were they the first team to go onto hards, by the way, Mercedes?
Lewis Hamilton was the first. No, Latifi was. I think Latifi was, and then Hamilton was on one of the early ones, and then a couple teams copied on the hards, and their races went to shit. So you saw Lando Norris, he went on hards, went to shit. Like
I think it was not a good idea. These men were following that Pirelli diagram, innit?
No, but at the end of the day,
that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They had no idea. They had no clue.
Crofty's not the orator of knowledge. If Crofty is saying at lap 10, "Yo, them hards are dead. They're slow, Crofty's telling us this. But people's thinking, "Yeah, let's put hards on."
So I'm struggling to get my head around is if they switch the strategy. They didn't switch the strategy at the start. Could they have switched the strategy at the first round of pit stops? So could Lewis have gone on to softs as opposed to hards at the first round of pit stops?
No.
Could he have gone medium, soft, medium?
He could have done it if they felt like this is what I'm saying. Like this is why,
or even medium soft. He could have stretched the medium out.
This is where their decision making becomes a bit frazzled because clearly you put them on hards and then you've realized, okay, these tires are slow. This is a bad mistake now. You could have just eked out a little bit more and then put softs on to try to rectify that mistake or make that situation a little bit better. Obviously, you're going to lose time in the pit stop, but you'll gain that in putting softs on. And then you don't double down by putting Russell on hards. You've seen Lewis out here on hards, and it's not looking good. Mm-hmm. But then you said, okay, let's do the same thing for Russell. Instead of just saying, Russell, stay out, we're going to put you on softs later.
It was only after 34 laps. I'm checking the data now. Only after 34 laps did the hard become a quicker tire than the medium. 34.
What's the point?
That's mental. Well, and this is another thing I noticed this year. Yeah, like obviously last year we had a lot of tire blowouts and tire failures, etc. I can't remember of that many off the top of my head happening this year. And a lot of the times when the team switched to a hard tire, I'm coming back to Ferrari here in Hungary, it's just so difficult to switch on. So I just don't know why Mercedes.
The second Mercedes saw on the grid that Red Bull on the softs, their mind should have switched to saying, okay, the strategy's medium soft. No matter what the iteration of it is, whatever the order it is, the strategy is medium soft. Because that's what Red Bull are about to do. They're about to do softs medium. So you need to do the opposite. You need to do medium softs. And hard shouldn't come in the equation.
And it's mad because the soft was holding up as well. Soft was holding its own for a good few laps. And
you know what?
Max was still close to... Lewis was still close to Max, yeah. Real close to Max for the first 10 to 12 laps.
I think if Mercedes did medium soft, though, they still lose that race because, let's face it, the Red Bull would have pitted again and would have gone on to probably a fresh set of mediums, and they would have caught them whatever Merc was in front. I think. I don't really think they win that race.
Situations.
Huh?
Because Red Bull know how to react to situations. When somebody does another thing, then they know what to do. Exactly. This is like man's doing like it's he's tanking for draft picks. Mercedes strategy. They're like, yeah, just trust the process, man. We stick to the plan that we had from previous. We're not gonna take advantage of any situation that comes to us, which is a nightmare. That's not how it should be. At the end of the day, you should need to be adaptable. Need to be actually reading and seeing what's going on in the race and looking at other people's tire data as well. Because I don't think that's happening as well. Shouts to Kule Street Set. Have it that Mercedes are still waiting for Red Bull mediums to follow. Yeah, they're still waiting. They're still waiting. How many laps did Max Verstappen do in our mediums? He did 30 plus, 35 plus. He done a madness.
How much?
He must have done 37 laps.
I feel like it's 50, bro.
50, you know. No, I definitely did. Let me actually just check this out.
It's 40s.
Yeah,
was
it's nearly 40s, isn't it?
Yeah, 40. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think we've got Anik frozen on the screen unless he's meditating right now. He is. He's frozen. Just before I was going to ask you a question. And he's out. He's out. Guys, he's going to come back. Don't let him. We're not going to let him run away because we're about to speak about something right now. Actually, do you know what? I'll speak to the other Ferrari resident, Chris.
Yeah.
Ferrari fall off. We've noticed something this weekend. We noticed that Ferrari are no longer in contention for any types of poles or wins at this weekend. They looked slow all throughout practice. They looked slow in quali to the point where Leclerc got out qualified by Valtteri Bottas, which is quite strange. Actually, Chris, wait a minute. Let me talk to Anik first because Anik's been talking crazy there. You are a reasonable Ferrari fan. Anik, Ferrari.
What's up? Yeah.
You look stressed. Why do you look stressed? I thought it was Essa Ferrari. This is our year. Prancing
We're gonna
horse.
have fun. We're gonna have fun this year.
Bono said we're gonna have fun, and I would they last year. Nobody's having fun. Nobody's having fun right now. Looked slow in practice all weekend. Qualifying, I think Sainz was 6th, I think, or 5th, and then Leclerc 7th. Out qualified by Valtteri Bottas, customer team. Quite worrying there. And in the race, absolutely nowhere in comparison to the Mercedes team that you said that have fallen off. What's happened with Ferrari, Anik? Why are you 1 minute down in a race when you was winning races by 30 seconds in Australia?
I'll be honest with you, we got the setup completely wrong this weekend. I can't quite put my finger on it, whether we had a DRS problem, an engine problem, or just completely ruined the aero setup, but it wasn't a good weekend at all for Ferrari. And the worrying thing is, not even in one session did we look quick. Usually, one weekend, at least one session minimum, we're quick to give me a little bit of confidence. But man, this weekend was a shocker. If anything could, if I could have changed one thing or asked for something better, maybe a bit more aggression going into the first lap, if we could maybe have got ourselves ahead of the Mercedes or ahead of Red Bull, it might have been a different story because we saw the same old thing with Mexico. The field completely spread out. I personally think and the reason why I say that is because I personally think that the gaps we saw was not a true reflection of the pace. Like Leclerc is not, how many seconds was he behind Sainz? 5 seconds behind Sainz. That's not normal. That's not normal for him to be that far behind Sainz. And
wasn't it?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure about that. Very, very sure.
How
far was he behind?
He was 10 seconds behind him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's so hard. Like this altitude, the air, it's not good. You can't. Get
Why does the altitude only affect? No, wait. Why does the altitude only affect Leclerc and not Sainz? Because you said that it only affected Leclerc. Explain to me why that's the case.
Yeah, because you're putting more pressure on the engine to cut through the air, and there's only so much pressure Leclerc can put through the engine. As it is, he binned it in P2, FP2, which wasn't good.
Which is a normal day in the office.
It's not really a normal day in the office. No, it's not. It's not. This is a driver who's
I've got for guys. I'm gonna put on Twitter the thread that I've got going on. I've got a long thread of Leclerc mistakes just this year alone.
I think I have to remind you of the video. How can I be homophobic?
Oh yeah,
we know about that video. We know about that video. Okay, but look, that I honestly think that I don't think that was a true reflection. I mean,
they're saying you're capping in the audience here.
Nah, there's no cap whatsoever. Trust me, we'll be back next week. We'll give another chance to.
Anik, I looked at the telemetry. I looked at the telemetry between Sainz and Leclerc.
Yeah, he was.
Leclerc was faster. Leclerc was faster on the streets. Is that a sign of someone's engine being down on the other guy?
Well, it was just a poor weekend. It was just a poor weekend.
It's getting scary, man.
He got cooked.
Boy,
well, don't worry.
We checked the data over here. Sainz just packed him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, one race, that's fine. Bravo. The whole season, Leclerc's had him on string. So it's all right. You can have Mexico. Because you know what? You know what's really bad? I promise you, if Leclerc was P5, he would have been much closer to the back of George Russell.
I don't think so.
I promise you.
Over. I think it's over. Actually, I think it's over for the season. I think it's P3 now. It's P3. Let me come to you, Chris. Chris,
what do you mean P3? We're going to get P2 in the no way. We're getting P2 in the construction.
Is it in jeopardy, Chris? Is it in jeopardy? It's 40 points right now.
Depends on Brazil. If Carlos Sainz, if these men do any mistakes, it's over. But it depends on Brazil. One thing I'll say about this race is those Ferrari engines have asthma, bro. They were not breathing any air in Mexico. They could not breathe.
But no one could breathe.
The Ferrari teams were poor. Apart from Alfa Romeo, because they have
that high up in the clouds. Why would you want to race there anyway? It's a boring race. Like it's not even a spectacle.
You lot win a race in Austria and it's high up in the clouds.
Bro, we dunked on Red Bull at the home race.
It's the third
bro,
highest.
That's a heritage track. Bro, that's a heritage track. They only put Mexico on the calendar for Checo Perez, who himself stunk it up. Like, no one even likes the Mexican Grand Prix. No one even likes that Grand Prix.
So that race is
like,
on
you know what you're doing right now?
No, wait.
You know them man where they try to draw a girl and then the girl rejects them. They say, I don't like her. Man's like,
you're ugly anyway.
Like Mexico anyway. We're gonna win there anyway. Get this off the calendar. You get me? That's what you're doing right now.
You forgot one thing, yeah? You know how they won in Austria, yeah? Sainz's engine blew up. K-Mag's engine was dusted. But if those engines weren't breathing, they were blowing up. So this time, when our engines were blowing up, let's turn it. They're like, we don't have pace. We'll turn everything down and strip all the downforce off. Which is why Leclerc was crashing it on Friday. And every like 5 laps, they were skidding around that one chicane. Like, it was atrocious from them.
Street saying Ferrari are tanking for wind tunnel time.
Don't worry.
Victor Wembanyama, bro.
You say the NBA, you can't tank. At the end of the day, yeah. Like, what's the second highest altitude track? Brazil. There's 2 more races left. This is scary hours, man.
They just need to put a new engine in.
Hold on. What do you mean scary hours? We're coming up against, an illegal car here. We've actually won races against an illegal car.
I know. Like, I'm saying,
bro, Anik, the Ferrari was
scary hours. It's not scary hours.
No,
you know what? It's scary hours. It's scary hours. The fact that the only team to have won in a legal car this year is Ferrari. So just wait till we see what we got next year. Just wait.
You haven't won a race. You haven't won a race since the TD.
You mean the legal car, when Technical Directive 39 came out, is now suddenly this one of the slowest cars?
Nah.
That same legal car.
The TD didn't affect us. The TD didn't.
It did, brother.
So why haven't you won since it came out then?
We got close to race wins. We're just not as fast as Red Bull. We're just not as fast.
Okay, so
Mercedes have probably finished ahead of you more times since that technical directive has come out. So what's your answer to this?
That technical directive, Toto Wolff directed that at Ferrari. A Ferrari ain't been the same since.
And the one person who it benefited most is Max Verstappen.
I hate this guy so much.
Listen, the one person that affected was Max Verstappen, yeah.
Okay, so let me just get this clear, yeah? Let me get this absolutely straight. If you're claiming these race wins, so obviously Leclerc has 3 race wins, Sainz has 1 race win, and you're celebrating those wins. And obviously Mercedes, Sainz has 1.
He has 1. Oh, shit.
So, yeah, if we talk about the situations of the points gap now, 40 points, Mercedes have gone through all their struggles. They were finishing races outside of the points. They were just like awful in the beginning of the season, and they come out of this season finishing second place without winning a race and beating a team that's won 4 races. I think that's probably one of the most disgraceful things that ever happened in Formula 1 in terms of performances.
Well,
from
you
a
know
team.
what I find this. You know what I find disgraceful. I find disgraceful a team that has led so many races that has not been able to convert that into a win. Mercedes have led so many races this year, not been able to convert it. They've been on the podium, P2 and P3, so many times without getting on the top step. That for me is probably worse.
No, do you know what's worse? Do you know what's worse? Being in
Tell me.
multiple title races in the last 15 years and losing every single one of them. I think that's worse.
Multiple? No, we've only been in a few title races, and
Multiple.
Lewis Hamilton, the
What does
GOAT, came through.
multiple means
Let's
more
go through them. No, let's go through them. So 2019.
okay, what 2019 cooked.
That was
2018
Hamilton.
cooked. 2017 cooked.
All those years, Lewis went into
2012 loss. 2010 loss. I can keep going. We can keep going.
Listen, 2012 was on Alonso. Imagine bottling a 40-point lead with like 5 races to go.
We've got a team. You're trying to banter a team. Look, I'm not a Mercedes fan. Look, that's not my team. I don't like them. You get me? But you're trying to attack a team that has won 8 on the trot.
Yeah.
And you're claiming race wins.
And they've gone from 8 on a trot to not
over
winning
championships
this year. They've not won one this year.
So what?
And yet, if they've got this clout, this race winning clout, how comes they can't convert it? How comes they're getting P2 and P3? How comes they're leading races and not ending up? What happens to the best?
How many points?
It happens to the
One
best
of you guys, tell me what
was
was the point? What was the lead that Charles had at the beginning of the season?
Bro, it was barely 13% of the season gone. Barely 13%.
And you was running around like Pac in Vegas in '96. And now you're shot on the floor. It's over. Assassinated. 50-point lead, you know. Probably even more than that. This is not good. This ain't looking good, bruv. And you know what? We'll be back next year. We'll be back next year, hype, man. That's VVD hype, man. I ain't trying to hear all this. We got a question for you. Listeners' question. Shout out to everybody that had sent in listeners' questions, everybody. I think this question pertains to Ferrari. So shout out to @DavidSB4_. Who's winning the midfield battle next year between Ferrari, McLaren, and Alpine?
That is a crazy question. Ferrari will be up there, business end. They'll be P2 or P1 next year, easy. I mean, I'm going to entertain that question. We're no way. Bookmark this. We are no way going to be a midfield team next year. That's impossible. Under these new regs, we're the only team that's got race wins. All it's going to do is just improve us next year. Reduce wind tunnel time for Red Bull. We'll address our mistakes. We'll sit down. We'll regroup, and we'll come back stronger in 2023. We know what we have to do. Rome wasn't built in a day. So, it's a work in progress. We'll be fine. No way a midfield team, though. That's actually insulting. This is a team.
That's from a Ferrari fan, because Ferrari fans are acknowledging that it's over. The gap. How could you have a gap like this in time?
Bro, we won the most championships. We know about this. It's in our DNA to win championships.
I know you was alive during those championships in the 70s, but them days are the old days. It's over. It's over, brother.
Hey, Martz, I got a question for you. Is there any space on Team Mercedes AMG?
I don't know, bro. I'm not on that team, bro.
I don't know. Chris, Mahad, if there's any spaces going on?
Hey, Chris is a Ferrari fan.
I don't know, man. I know.
There's no Mercedes fans on this pod right now.
Bro. The only reason why I look at Mercedes is because of their drivers. If it wasn't for their drivers, I'd be wishing pain on that team like their Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you guys not backing what I'm saying? You're always attacking me like, oh, this, that.
No.
Why would I back the enemy? Listen, it's not. This isn't an enemy of the enemies, my friend.
Any of us are even allowed in Maranello? What the hell are you on about? Are we allowed on the premises?
Probably
and
not,
especially, they got a poster of you behind the bloody thing. As security. You're not allowed in there. Bad PR.
To be fair, that Anik curse has been real bad. I might have to tone it down next year. If we get P1, P2 in Bahrain, that's it. I'm not going to say anything. I want to keep.
It's funny. The only thing it hasn't affected is Lewis getting a win this season. That is it. That's the only thing it hasn't affected. So I don't know what type of Georgia that man bang out Mercedes, but this is ridiculous. Okay, Anik works with everything but this.
Anik's curse is crazy. He's got Darwin Núñez looking like prime Heskey, man. He dusted him, man. Bloody hell. Chris, real Ferrari fan. What's your thoughts on the situation in the future, actually? So your thoughts on this season and what's happening next season. I know you had big Bonotto stock.
Well, obviously, I had to drop the Bonotto stock for political reasons. We won't get into it, but he's a bozo for that comment. But they had all of the process in building a car correct, and obviously the technical directives messed them up. So it's like you go again. But yeah, it's like if they're collecting it and they know what's wrong, then I have no problems with them. And then it's about, for me, it's more about the race decisions. They've not been bozo in races recently. They've just not been fast, but they've not done anything where you sit there and go, what the hell are Ferrari doing? So it's a bit better. It's like 5% better, but the car's like 50% worse. So it is what it is. We'll see next year what car they cook up.
We'll see you next year. It's a bit of a coin flip right now where they're going to be, but it's looking like scary hours for Ferrari. And if they drop that, hey, listen, they're not in P2 at the end of that season. Anik, we're going to have words, man. We've got a special pod for the last race of the season, guys. So look forward to that. And Anik will be there, right?
Collecting my W. Trust me. We'll be there.
Okay, say no more. We'll go to the next question. I know someone's just put a comment in there. We were going to actually talk about this. Red Bull's been beefing Ted Kravitz this weekend, which is a bit strange because Ted Kravitz is just
Kanye, bruv.
Ted Kravitz can say what he wants. You get me? He ain't got an idea. He ain't got an idea. That still, you can do what he wants. You get me? And I think that should be that should be the title. Ted Kravitz can do what he wants because he's an OG in this thing. This 1997 he's been on this thing, doing the same thing, saying what the hell he wants. So for people that don't
born there, bruv.
I think he was.
Not 1997.
I forget about it. Anyways, for those who don't know, Max Verstappen has accused Sky Sports and their pit lane reporter Ted Kravitz of disrespect of the Red Bull of boycotted the broadcaster for this weekend. So it all stemmed from what Ted Kravitz has been saying. He's said it quite a lot. I'm an avid watcher of Ted Kravitz Notebook. That's high quality television right there. Watch it every race weekend. And he has mentioned a couple times of how Lewis Hamilton was robbed of his title last year, which we all agree on here. I don't think any of us would disagree. And Max Verstappen's just had it.
Do you agree?
Who, me?
Anik, do you agree?
Bro, of course I've agreed, bro.
Anik was shedding tears in spaces.
Bro, I was the one saying, bro, I was shouting the loudest. For my GOAT. For my number one driver, I was shouting the loudest. Yeah,
Anik was doing the craziest PR for Lewis Hamilton. But anyways, Ted Kravitz has been mentioning it quite a lot, how Lewis Hamilton was robbed, and Max Verstappen and Red Bull have had enough of it. They're like, guys, can you just stop talking about it, please? It's been nearly a year. Can you stop bringing this up? You're supposed to be Sky, you're supposed to be unbiased and so on, but they forget that this is Ted Kravitz and it's his TV show and he's his own producer and he can do what the hell he wants. It's not like he's doing it on a Sky Live broadcast. He's doing his own thing on his own TV show. He can say what the hell he wants. I think this is all stemmed from Red Bull and their kind of like penalty that they got on Friday. They got, I think it was $7 million fine and a reduction in wind tunnel time. Firstly, we'll talk about that, the reduction in wind tunnel time and the fine. Anik, do you feel like it was a sufficient punishment for the cheating? I think they went 1 point something over in terms of last year.
So what percent? So
they've got a 10% reduction.
Yeah, 10% reduction.
Obviously, they have the lowest wind tunnel time because they're the winners.
But they're going to get even more reduced. I think. Honestly, I don't think it's a good.
Get rid of wind tunnels,
Well, you don't need them. Let's be honest.
He wants to get rid of wind tunnels. So
we said that though, didn't we? I said this last year that he bloody drew the car on the back of a fag packet. He didn't need a wind tunnel time. He doesn't need any of this.
These men annoy me so much. I'm sorry. How are you letting him into the discussions to tell you the minimum amount of wind tunnel time he needs?
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I think this all comes back to like the fact that, you know, we're talking about a sport that's such fine margins. You know, you can put a millimeter this way, that way on your front wing. You know, we're dealing with licks of paint on the car to reduce weight. We're talking about thousandths of a second. And for them to go over what, 5%? They went over by 5%, right?
No, well,
or something.
5%. It was like just under 1% or something like that.
1%.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, by the way, because I read another report that it was pretty much.
They went over by 1.8 million, which is just over 1%, basically.
But just over 1% because the budget cap's 140, right?
Okay, yeah. But I'm sure it was first quoted at like 7.5 million or something.
No, that they said that's the upper
limit.
5%. That's the upper limit of the 5%. So they went over by 1.8, and then they had some magical tax credit they were meant to get, and which was going to give them back 1.3 million.
But they still went 400 grand over without that tax.
But I don't believe tax credit should count to that anyway, because you spent that money at the end of the day. Don't matter if you're getting it back, you spent that money.
What do they mean by tax credit anyway? What are they claiming for every Red Bull employee children or something?
They're claiming for work from home expenses, bruv.
What is Red Bull claiming universal credit? What's going on here? I don't understand what this rebate is that they're getting or whatever credits they're getting. But they still went over. I still think even if you take that away and it's 400 grand over, Anik, they've gone over. Martz has gone over. I think Anik, you froze a little bit. It still went 400 grand over, even if you take them excuses out of the way.
Yes. Sorry about that. My fucking connection cut out. Look, regardless, the point I'm trying to make is even if you go over in a sport that is defined by such fine margins, it is a massive, massive breach. And I personally don't think it's enough. But you're not gonna dock on points. You're not gonna revoke championships. They're not gonna do that in no way, shape, or form. Red Bull, since the start of the year, have been trying to make themselves look good in the media and the public. You know, they used to come on at the start of the season like, oh, we actually enjoy the fight with Ferrari. It's non-toxic and all this fucking bullshit. Yet, when it came out that they were cheating with flaws, they all of a sudden got all tight about that because they want to kind of protect their image and say, oh, no, we're actually really good over here at Red Bull. And then when this thing came out about the cost cap, again, they were trying so hard to protect their name. And I think it's more so about trying to protect the Red Bull name more than anything. And that's why I think they're just so pissed off. And that actually leads into what the Ted Kravitz thing about, 8-time world champion and being robbed. I think they're just trying to constantly protect their name. And they thought that the start of the year was a perfect opportunity to do so. Max was running away with it. You know, they were genuinely a fast team. And people were like, actually, you know what? Red Bull, that's a good outfit there. They got a good driver. They got good CTO. The team principal's not talking toxic no more. And the car is quick. Now, all of a sudden, with the flaw, with the cost cap, and now refusing to speak to the media, it's not looking too good for them.
It's looking scary. And then, obviously, with this Ted Kravitz stuff as well, obviously, I think even when I was watching it, I think Ted Kravitz was just the recent one from the USGP, his Ted notebook from there. I think he was just basically describing a script of what an F1 movie would be like, based on last year. And then obviously he's mentioned that the whole dodgy situation of where Lewis Hamilton's been robbed. So he's given an analogy at the end of the day. And they've just basically had it. And Max Verstappen, what did he say in that
someone just reminded me as well. That corpse, that walking zombie was involved as well.
Bernie.
Like, what are we still doing keeping this man involved in this sport? Can he just... I can't say what I want to say.
Don't say what you want to... Please, we're live. We're live.
Please, Martz, we're live.
Please, Martz. I'm begging you. Don't talk about Bernie.
Put it this way. If Bernie was still around, we'd have gone to Russia and Mazepin would still be on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
He would have just been like, I don't see that.
He said, what war?
Bruv, he's like, I'll back the war, bruv.
You back the war. All right, enough with Bernie. I swear to God, I'm not getting cancelled. Verstappen basically said, it had nothing to do with this weekend, but this year it has been a constant kind of digging, and it's being disrespectful, especially from one particular person. At one point, it's enough, and I don't accept it. A question for you, Chris. Does Max Verstappen have to hold that?
Yeah, he has to. Put it this way. The thing is, he wasn't even mugging Verstappen. He was talking about the FIA and the FIA messing up. It was even. It's not about Max. It's about the FIA. It's about the people who make the rules, not enforcing the rules and not doing things properly. And we're seeing it again with this whole negotiation of the punishment. Like, if next year Red Bull win the championship, the punishment means nothing. It means nothing. It means Red Bull paid an extra £7 million to get through on the bounce.
Wait, can I just say, the difference between finishing in certain positions, yeah? Obviously, it's a 5% difference in wind tunnel time and $20 million in prize money. So essentially, Red Bull haven't even got half of that. All right, yeah, they got the 7% reduction in wind tunnel time, but a £7 million fine. That's nothing. That's nothing.
They basically got like
10 times of what they done. It should be at least 20 million.
Well, no. To be fair, look, when I saw the
give up the prize money for what they have.
When they got a $7 million fine, right? $7 million fine, yeah. Why are you fining an energy drink company $7 million fine? $7 million fine when they make billions? How does that affect them? It didn't even come out of their cost cap, for next year. It's just a random fine.
Exactly.
They'll find it at the back of the sofa. It means nothing. It means if you gave Mercedes a $7 million fine, it means nothing to them. If you gave Ferrari a $7 million fine, it means nothing to them. These teams are not Haas. They're not going under. If you give them a $7 million fine, it means absolutely nothing. So that financial fine is just FIA saying, "Let me collect some bread."
And then they'll do it. They were funding, the people who are gonna check the cost cap for next season, bruv.
Oh yeah, they said they don't have staff. They said they don't have staff to check the cost cap. I'm like, why enforce the cost cap if you ain't got staff to do it?
And to top it all off, Helmut Marko comes out and says, "Yeah, if the fine is harsh, but we could still be competitive." How is that going to deter anybody from doing it in the future? It just does not make sense at all, man.
The worst thing is,
well, you know what? Toto ain't got the balls to do it anyway, so it don't even matter.
Oh no, Ferrari will do it.
Yeah, well,
no, we won't. No,
Ferrari
would do it. We won't do that. No,
Ferrari are honorable. Hey, come on, even
honorable.
Chris, look at his face.
Very, very
Chris is like, what the hell are you talking about?
But listen, hold on. What you talk about 2019?
No,
we're honourable. We didn't cheat in 2019.
No. What will happen is Ferrari will do it. Then they'll go, look, we saw how you man treated Red Bull and man there. Give us the same deal, or we're throwing the sport into disrepute. We'll blow everything up. Like, you know how we're going back to sports cars? We'll pull that plug on that, FIA, you're dusted, bruv.
Do you know what it is? This is the equivalent of, like, if let's say you parked illegally, and it said permit only, and you parked there and you was like, okay, I'm gonna park here, and then you don't know what the fine is gonna be. You have no idea what the fine is, and then you get the fine, and the fine is £1. Guess what? I'm parking illegally every single time. I don't care. That fine is nothing to me.
Of course.
It means absolutely nothing to me. And that's what Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull are going to do now, because the punishment is not light.
So this comment,
you can take it as you can add it to your budget and say, oh, we're going to pay this much in fine next year.
I want to just comment. Like, it's not about how much Red Bull went over. I don't think anyone really cares about the amount that they went over. It's the fact that they went over, and this is the first time you're enforcing rules. And after what happened last year in Abu Dhabi, everything's meant to be a clean state, and we're meant to be working by the book basically now. Whether you go over 400k or whether you go over $10 million, it shouldn't matter.
But you know what it is, Martz?
You have to punish them accordingly so that it doesn't encourage people to do it again. And this punishment encourages teams like Ferrari, like Aston Martin in the future, like McLaren possibly, to do it in the future. And that's all it is. It's not a deterrent at all. These teams have the money to pay £7 million fines and take a reduction, because if you win the championship, what is that? What does that mean? I won the championship. It was all worth it in the end. and all I have to do like the next season, it's not really going to even affect you that much, because at the end of the day, the next season is just a carryover. It's literally a carryover. It doesn't affect you. You're not adding anything else to it. You just added a few developments throughout the year. That is literally it.
All right. Back to Ted Kravitz as well. Do you think Red Bull are right to boycott Sky? I'm gonna come to you, Anik.
No, I don't think they're right at all. Come on, man. He's gonna say what he's gonna say. They obviously read half the shit that goes on social media. I honestly think that was just a poor move from Red Bull. They could have just spoken to Sky. Like what he said it. He's not even said it directly to them. It's not as like he said it to Horner or to Verstappen or to Helmut Marko. He said it, away from them. And then because of that, they're gonna throw their toys out the pram and boycott Sky. All of a sudden now, they're gonna resume duty from Brazil. And Ted Kravitz, I'm sorry, you mentioned it. Like, he's been dropping this the whole season. And honestly, when I saw it surface, I was like, what? Like, he's said stuff like this throughout the season. It's really not that deep. I honestly think it's a very childish move from Red Bull, and I think they're just throwing their toys out the pram unnecessarily, and they've come back into line because all of a sudden they're going to resume media duty in Brazil.
I think it's quite symbolic of what happened before, right? Like, when Red Bull were winning, they get very defensive about how they portrayed it in the media. So it happened when they were winning with Vettel. And fair play, I'm not going to lie, the media was cooking Vettel. The whole lot, they were basically calling him a new merchant. They were on him. And it was quite apparent that, I think these times it was like BBC coverage. So it was like, I think it was like Eddie Jordan or one of those guys. They were quite open about not rating these men. And I was thinking, that's a bit biased. So I think what Sky's doing now ain't that bad compared to what was going on back then.
Well, if they hire Paul di Resta, they'll be all right.
Paul di Resta's defending Max's corner. They're all right. They've got a bit of balance there.
Karoon's out here saying, I want the best for Red Bull.
Listen, he owes Red Bull a career. Karoon, you get me?
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Like even if Red Bull were getting cooked in 2013 by the media, I don't care. Like they won. They won.
I know, and I think that's what's the problem.
Their reputation is taking a massive hit.
No.
But they're trying to protect their reputation.
Their reputation took a hit before that as well. Even when they had Vettel on that, they had.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about.
The thing is, it's the way they react compared to other teams. Because when other teams win, no matter if they're getting hated on in the media, because F1 hates a winner. I'll tell you that right now. F1 hate. If you're winning, they're gonna hate on you. Yeah. The fact that they're the ones that can't take any sort of criticism. But if Ferrari's winning, nobody cares. If McLaren winning, McLaren don't care. If Mercedes are winning, they don't care if they're being criticized. Oh, you guys are.
Of course.
You guys are. Nobody cares.
Do you think Mercedes care about that?
To be one thing
I just don't get it.
One thing I will say is, that I rate Red Bull because it's not even Red Bull that made it. It was Max. Max said, I don't want to talk about these. I don't want to talk to these guys no more. And Red Bull said, you know what? If you're not talking to them, we're all not talking to them. That is like, we're backing our boy kind of thing, yeah. Very few teams or institutions will do that. Like, I even though it's crybaby stuff, but at least, they're backing their driver and they're backing their boy and they're doing it to the hills. Like, there's no like, oh, you know what, we bow to, like, basically they're bowing to their king, innit? Like, Max is their king, they're bowing and they're following orders. None of this faffing about and putting people in difficult. But Max is putting Red Bull in more difficult situations than Red Bull have put Max in. So at least
Red Bull put him in some difficult situations right now. Though. Red Bull's taking 2 titles for him. You get me? They put him on a duress.
His stepdad is doing up racism.
Yeah, his stepdad's moving mad.
And
his dad.
So. Yeah, his dad accused him of being on PEDs. What the hell?
Yeah, falling on PEDs. Don't kill me. He's on drugs. Hamilton's on drugs. That's what he was on. I was like,
he thought Hamilton was Conor Ben, bro. What's going on here? One picture on Instagram said, nah. He's doing something, bro.
Honestly, it's a bit of a farce. I think Ted Kravitz is an institution. He's an F1 institution. He can say what he wants. And at the end of the day, he's holding up F1, Sky F1 right now. He's keeping them alive. And he's given Red Bull how much coverage? It's not like people are always like, oh my God. Like, we got a comment here. They said, what? Sky F1 hasn't got an anti-Max bias. It's got a bias against anyone that isn't a British driver. That's not really the case, is it?
No.
They're just biased to anybody that's not winning. Because guess what? They have to sell the sport.
Of course.
So they have to highlight other drivers and other teams and so on. They never want to speak about the team that's actually winning consistently. And we're going to see that shift of Red Bull being that plucky underdog, getting one win here and there to say they're too dominant. And then where we want that rant. Look, we even saw it now. The way Sky will celebrate if Mercedes won just one race. They'll be running around like their pack. They'll be getting so gassed because Formula One, the narrative of the media, every single time is to support the underdog.
Of course.
They will never prop up the winner. I'll tell you this right now. And we're going to see that shift now in Sky F1. And Red Bull fans are going to hate it. And guess what I'm going to say? You're going to have to hold that. You're going to have to be... Listen, if McLaren were winning, if McLaren were in Red Bull situation right now, nobody could chat to me. I don't care about cheating accusations. I don't care about me being biased. I don't care anyway. Nobody could chat to me. Guess what? We're winning races. But I feel like Red Bull fans don't...
The fact of the matter is McLaren will never be in that position with Daniel Ricciardo, so it doesn't
You're
matter.
a Williams fan. You're a Williams fan, Martz.
I'm just saying.
You're a Williams fan.
Daniel Ricciardo.
And I want everybody in this crowd to know
Ricciardo, innit?
he's a Williams fan and he's talking.
No, I'm a BMW fan. That's why I am.
I'll get her out of here, man.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next thing.
Wait, one last thing about Red Bull and Red Bull fans, yeah. If you're complaining about Sky, watch Ziggo Sports. They rank off Max over there, yeah. Just watch them. Like that's your coverage. You get to where you're due, like so. Like go over there. It's cool. You don't need to watch Sky.
Go get that Ziggo stream.
Ziggo.
You can understand a couple words. They speak Dutch, but then they got a couple English words in there. You get me?
Yeah, they'll swear at you. It's fine.
It's calm. This is hard for me because we're gonna have to talk about Fernando Alonso. And I think I've got 3 of the biggest Fernando Alonso haters in the room right now.
Oh boy.
And I feel a bit sick. I feel like I'm in danger. You know, like Ralph Wiggum on the back of the bus. I'm in danger. I'm in danger right now. Because I'm one of the only Alonso fans on the cast. Fernando Alonso had an eventful week this week, even prior to the race. I think he did an interview. I don't know who he did the interview with, but basically discrediting other people. Yeah. Oh, is it Dutch? Oh, surprising. Discrediting other people's type of championships and just trying to put more balance towards one and the other. Lewis Hamilton then decides to post on Twitter a picture of him on the top step at McLaren and Alonso second place, and then him putting his arm on his hand on his arm with thumbs up. And Alonso's weekend went to shit from that post. Had a great start. Jumped a couple people and then was just behind the Ferraris.
Can we talk about that post quickly? Do not kill me about it.
Go on.
It was just a thumbs up. That was it.
Just a thumbs up, yeah. That's what I do. Lewis, do you know what?
Thiago does as well.
Thiago, yeah. What?
Yeah, Thiago.
Thiago slander randomly. Oh my god!
I can get Thiago slandering on the pit stop pod. Don't worry about that.
The main thing, yeah, about that post that made me cry, yeah, is why was it lacking pixels? There was no pixels. Lewis Hamilton does not know how to take a picture of Google. He's struggling. He just said, and that's how I know that he ain't got a social media manager, that he does his own tweets. Because what's going on there? Because that is low pixels. I don't know. Somebody's tried to tell me that was deliberate to show how long ago it was. Bro, there was high res pictures back there. Stop that. It's probably 2007, not 1986.
You know what?
What are we talking about?
You know what? He's had that picture saved since 2007. Look at Kwame came out with a good one-liner. You know what it is, Mahad? That was actually a heritage race as well, yeah? You guys must remember that. That was a good race, Indianapolis. Good race.
Don't remind me of 2007 was a very embarrassing year for me. Extremely embarrassing.
Yeah, but still, that race though, that race, that little segment.
Good times. We had good times. We had good times. We had bad times. I had Rod Dennis shouting on the pit wall. We had a lot of situations going on. We had people holding each other up on the pits. With Alonso, we had a court case going on. They were bare. We're actually a disgrace. Back to Alonso. Alonso had a great start. Then was best of the rest, and then engine went wham, wham, wham. And his engine went wham, wham, wham in Singapore. So he looked visibly frustrated.
I think it's the way he drives his car. Instead of him to be blaming the team, who worked very, very hard to make sure that he has a fast car, he's out here driving it recklessly and doing something to it. That's obviously the reason why he's going to be on his 7th engine from next week.
I'm sorry. This is the most shameless thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
No. You know he's not that far off. I was on Baguette.
Okay, you tell me, go on.
I was on Baguette Twitter, and they were talking about the fact that because
why are you on Baguette Twitter? Hold on. Hang on. Why are you on Baguette Twitter? You went into the Alpine hive. You're our resident French speaker reader.
Huh? Have you gone to Baguette Twitter? Have you got there?
Look, yeah. How do you think I keep up with all the Alpine news and all the secrets from Alpine, bruv? Yeah, I got my guys, you know. Yeah, but anyway, I was on there, and they were talking about how, you know how Ocon's like 6 foot and then Alonso's like 5 foot, whatever, like 5'7". Yeah, they're talking about how when Ocon's 6 foot, yeah, he has to do engine management because his helmet is blocking the engine aircon intake. Yeah, so from lap 7, he was doing engine management mode. Yeah. Bruv, and Alonso's out here racing, bruv. Of course, the asthmatic engine was going to blow up, bruv.
What is Alpine built? What? No. What? Let's talk about what's Alpine.
He does. I'm sorry. No one finishes with that many DNFs and faults, yeah? And you're out here blaming the team. He came out today. He's like, oh, it's always happening to number 14. Well, yeah, when you drive your car,
okay, Martz,
no. If I'm driving down the A205, yeah, and I keep on driving it recklessly, and I have to keep on taking it to that garage every week, yeah, can I turn around and blame Audi? No, I can't turn around and blame Audi. I have to go and look at the way I am driving the car.
This is the most shameless. He's in a race. What are you talking about? He's in a race. He's supposed to drive fast.
But why? No, but the same.
No, you have to management at some point as well.
But Mahad, a very similar thing happened in Saudi as well. He was close to Ocon, and his engine blew up then as well.
This guy just pressing the nitro button every 2 minutes.
Just be overdriving it.
I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this at all. I'm sorry, guys. We're not gonna go down.
No, he drives his car recklessly.
There's why did Alain Prost, before the season started, he left? Because he said they're going down the wrong path. They're picking power over reliability. Why would he leave the whole organization?
Okay, but why is it? Okay, but why is
Ocon
facing the same reliability issues? You're silent like Anik when you're asking a Ferrari question now. Exactly.
I'm not.
Don't bring me into this. Hey, don't bring me into this. I'm enjoying this.
Ocon's out here looking after the car. Like he was on engine management from lap 7.
Man, because he's doing engine, because he's lanky as hell and he has to keep the engine cool, bro. Because of his helmet.
And he's ahead. And guess what? He's ahead in points as well. So you do something
I could just imagine him moving Ted on the straight.
Ocon was ahead, you know.
He'd be like this on halfway down the straight.
Guys, I'm disgusted. I'm actually disgusted about this narrative. How many times has he DNF'd this season of no fault?
6 or 7 now. 7.
Let's go through it because I know
7 DNFs.
That's insane. You know that's insane. That's not normal.
Yeah, because he's driving a car recklessly.
Yeah, but not all of them's the car just blowing up, bro.
Okay, no. Let's go through it. There's somebody put a thing out. Yeah, let's go through it. Engine problem, Bahrain. Engine problem, DNF, Saudi. Hydraulic failure in quali in Australia. Hit by Schumacher in Imola.
Great job, Nick.
On first lap, you got hit by a Schumi. Miami, we're not even gonna. That's not an excuse.
Yeah. Good.
I'm not even gonna defend them on that. 4th engine in Spain had traffic on his quali lap. Engine problems in Canada.
Why people blame traffic on quali laps?
I don't know. But Canada, he had engine problem.
Yeah, no. It was cool when Ocon was giving DRS call. Then he started molding. Then Ocon left.
He had no electrical power, bro.
Like his formation lap, bro.
He had no electrical power from yeah, but he got no electrical power from like lap 20. He was managing the whole race. And what do you mean he has the whole time? This is not his fault. You have to
hold on. When did he start P2?
That was Canada.
Canada. And then he had an electrical issue on lap 20. And that was just managing. And then ended up all the way where he was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he should have managed his car sooner. Then maybe we wouldn't have the electrical issue.
Austria, when he was at the sprint race, what happened to his car? Died on the grid. Before the race even started, just died on the grid. This is shambolic stuff. This is unheard of stuff. Yeah. Belgium got hit by Hamilton. Car dusted. Engine
That's my
problem.
fault.
Engine problem Imola. Engine problem Singapore. Takes 6 engine in USA. Gets hit by Stroll. Car dusted. Drove the whole race back. They tried to slap penalty in his head. Then engine problem again. What is this?
Oh, that was the worst, bro. When I got the message, we got the message in the WhatsApp group at like 6 in the morning saying Alonso got his points back.
He needed that.
Fuming.
Why are you guys fuming at justice? This is real life. This is what should happen.
Yeah, because my tweet is like milk.
Yeah, because
That
you
was
have
a
to
good
hold
tweet,
that.
to be fair.
No, it wasn't a good tweet. No,
Very good
Chris
tweet.
tweet is a good tweet, by the way.
What are you talking about? I tweeted the Carlos Sainz tweet, yeah, where he got packed by Leclerc in Spain, bro. That tweet banged.
All right.
Oh, with the helmet, yeah. That was a good
You got
one.
some
Yeah,
heat.
No, or the
Oh,
tire.
man,
With the
tire.
tire. Yeah, with the tire.
Look. We got Kwame in the thing saying sub me and Gaffer. You ain't gonna help me, bro.
No, Pedri,
I'm on my
Pedri,
ones.
you're dusted, bro. You're
You ain't
injured,
gonna
bro.
help
You're
me,
injured, Pedri. You're injured, bro. Rest,
You're injured,
rest.
bro. Come on, man. You gotta allow it, man. You've been
Hey, talk about
working
Yuki
overtime,
DNF,
man.
yeah.
Still
what-
playing games on PSP.
This guy, come on. Listen, Alonso's giving hard done by. When Aston Martin made that rocket ship, guys, scary hours for all of you.
Bruv, not Stroll retiring, bruv. He's on a streak, bruv. The
Listen,
only person
Mark
to survive
Stroll,
is Perez.
he might be my second favorite driver on the grid.
Stop
I
that.
can't
Where did that come
Bro,
from?
I'm actually taking a liking to him.
Yeah,
I'm actually
he's
sliding
funny.
this-
Why are you,
Like,
man, all of a
he's
sudden like
actually
Lance Stroll?
Because he's funny, bro. He's
He's
genuinely
actually-
funny. He's entertainment. If you're talking about
100%.
this sport being entertainment, he's your guy, bro. He's
Didn't
your
he
guy.
make the first pit stop?
Apart from
He
his
did the
radio in
first pit
Saudi,
stop
that
on
was
mediums,
actually
didn't he?
scary.
What was his radio in Saudi?
When he's like, I'm gonna die. He was like,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
I'm like, I'm gonna die.
die.
Yo, this guy is crazy. He's got the best radios ever. I don't care. But yeah, hopefully he still beats Ocon. I think it's unlikely this season now that he's going to beat Ocon in points. He's going to lose to a teammate, I think, head to head for the first time, right? Is that it? I think it's the first time. Scary.
Second time.
What does this mean? What does this comment mean, guys? If for listeners, yeah, somebody's just said I'm moving like Bakayoko away at Watford in 1718.
Bro,
I was when he came on, yeah, I got subbed off immediately.
No. Stop that. I'm not having a disaster cast at all.
That was a terrible performance, bro.
But yeah, Alonso, better luck next time, guys. It's fine, man. We'll be back next week. We'll be back in Brazil. We're going to put on a masterclass, as always.
Back in the DNFs.
No, not back in the DNF. Stop that shit, man. We got to stab that shit, man. Talking about drivers of the day now. It was an uneventful race, guys. So we're just going to go straight to drivers of the day and then get on to your listeners' questions, guys. So, Anik, who was your driver of the day?
Danny Rick,
Danny Rick, the person that punted Yuki Tsunoda off.
Yes. First of all, for that. Second of all, for that great drive on a softs, man. It was nice to see a bit of overtakes, especially at this circuit. I'll be honest with you, bro. It was a bore fest, man. Seeing my boys almost a minute off, seeing the gap between first to fourth, and just no overtakes, man. It just pisses me off. But then, yeah, it was nice to see Danny Rick switch it up, get on the softs, a little bit of Yuki terrorism, and then pulled off some good overtakes on the Alpines. Yeah, Danny Rick for me.
Danny Rick. Chris, who was your driver of the day? I dare you to say Mick Schumacher. I dare you.
No. We beat K-Mag though. Yeah. We left with Sutton. No, Albon. For finishing P12, where your teammates like, I know apparently he had damage, whatever that means, but your teammates like 50 seconds behind the person who's second last, bro. So
Latifi was so slow, man. I couldn't believe what I was seeing on the time screen.
Bro, it's
How
like having
far behind
Mazepin
he
again.
was. Like, no, Mazepin was never that slow.
It was.
As slow as that.
Yeah,
This
the
guy
guy was
was
like
2
50
laps
seconds
down
behind
him.
Mick. I was like, oh my God.
We can't have this in F1 anymore, man. I'm sorry. Thank God. Thank goodness he's leaving. So you got Albon. Martz, who's your driver today?
Bert Mylander, whatever his name is.
Wait. Have you just said the safety car driver? He didn't even come out.
But why did you get?
Why have you just wait a second? Why have you just hated on the safety car driver? What's going on?
I'm not
Right?
hating on him. I'm giving him driver of the day.
Driver of the day. Wait, I got confused there. What the hell? Why? He didn't do anything. He didn't
He's
drive.
driving Aston Martin at high altitude. Tell us why.
I don't know. Listen, that race.
I know you want to just give it to Danny Rick, man.
No, why would I do that?
Give it to Max Verstappen.
Hell no.
Give it Ocon. Alonso didn't finish, so
Give it to George Russell.
No, because Ocon was rubbish as well. No.
Give it to Checo.
No. I'll give it to Checo's dad.
Checo's dad.
It was good to see him back on the grid.
He was out here, man. I know Chris, for some reason, is putting hate tweets out on Checo's dad. That's elite hating. You hate the driver and his dad.
Bro, you hate all Schumachers, bro. With what are they saying?
Karina, we're on to you as well. I'm on to all of you. Next, Latifi Award. Who had the stinker this weekend, Anik?
My boys, it's absolute stinker. I'll put my hands up
Both
and
of
say
them?
absolute stinker.
Whole
of them,
team?
everyone, whole team, everything in red. Shocking, absolutely shocking.
They come out later and said that they, you know, they said they basically said they got the setup wrong. How you get the setup wrong? What's practice for?
Don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. Like, to be a minute off, and the only takeaway I can get from this is the fact that it's Mexico, and always the cars get spread out. Regs, new regs, no new regs. The cars always get spread out of this circuit. So I'm expecting them to be closer to the business end of the grid next race. I'm just going to treat it as a one-off, but this was a one-off stinker from our boys. It's got to be addressed.
Hopefully you can bounce back from that, guys. I hope
We will.
Don't
worry.
Chris, who had a stinker this weekend? Who's got the Latifi Award?
Gasly, bro. What was that overtake on Stroll?
Yeah, Gasly, come on, man. You know what I'm gonna lie? I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I said this from a couple pods ago. Yeah, his driving standards this season are appalling.
He's quiet quitting.
He's quiet quitting, yeah. In this economy, he's just pretending to be on Microsoft Teams working from home. He's like, I'm working. Fuck that.
Bro, he has to drop the stinker in Brazil, yeah, and get the ban in Abu Dhabi, because boy, if he tries to do that with against Ocon next year, yeah, Tariq, you're getting cooked, bruv. You're getting cooked, bruv. The war's already loading, bruv.
Lord have mercy. Gasly had a howler, man. Absolutely. The fact that he didn't give the position back, even though he knew what he did was illegal.
Yeah, that was bad.
5 seconds slap to his head.
He's gone to the studios to complain.
What are you talking about? You committed terrorism on Lance. Lance is the terrorist. That was Al Qaeda versus Al Shabaab. That was some crazy stuff going on, bro. That was like terrorism versus terrorism. I don't know what was going on there. Martz, who had the stinker of the day?
I think I'll give it to Danny Ricciardo.
Stop that, man! Come on, let's give some. Martz, let's be serious right now. Give some good analysis.
Man said Danny Ricciardo.
Daniel Ricciardo, come on, let's be serious, bro.
For what? Taking out Yuki Tsunoda?
You're one of the biggest people that you hate. George Russell had a stinker, and you're just ignoring him right there.
Yeah, but I hate Daniel Ricciardo too.
No, stop that. Daniel Ricciardo did jobs.
Hey, George didn't have a stinker. Merck's strategy team had a stinker, bruv.
George
I know George had a stinker, man. Nah, he
bruv, when
he
he
should have
asked for
taken
Paul
Checo,
Ford,
bruv. No,
why is he so far? Why is he so far off the pace?
I'll give it to Checo because are you 2 seconds behind Lewis on softs? You donut.
No. Actually, one thing, about George, we say so far off the pace. George was like, 5-6 seconds off Lewis Hamilton. Checo is like 17-18 seconds off Max Verstappen. What's going on? That's not far off the pace.
You know, on the topic of Checo, yeah. Like, I personally think he had a bad race as well. But I want to ask you guys something. Sorry, Mahad. I want to take your role as host for 2 minutes. Yeah.
What's going on?
I can't help it. Mexico, like, what's actually good about this race?
The stadium.
Like, that's it.
The F1
that's
team.
it. And Perez. And it got extended for another 3
And the
years.
theme,
till
yeah,
2025.
as Chris said, the F1
That's
theme.
what I mean. And it
Alright,
got
the
extended
Mexican
for like a
F1
few
theme
years.
slaps.
Yeah, no, that slapped.
Come like
But-
you know, Nando's bathroom music. I was doing cha-cha.
Bro, that was the only bit of excitement, literally.
Yeah, it's not a good race, but you get me. I think there was a lot of overtakes compared to last year, though. Last year was a howler. Last year was just watching Max run off into the distance and Bottas.
I just didn't like that field spread. Like Ferrari aside, I would have expected. You would expect Checo to get closer. You would expect Checo to get closer to Lewis on medium tires. I just don't.
Lewis Hamilton, greatest driver of all time, man. You're asking too much of Checo, man. Why are you asking so much of Checo?
Hey, don't spin this, Mahad. You're good at it.
No, I'm just like
You
every
know
single
what,
time.
bro,
Every single
Red
time
Bull
you're
car.
upholding into a standard to guys that are like 7-time world champions.
One thing. How come every time Checo drives a bit quicker, yeah, his tires get cooked? He's always saying, I'm struggling with the tires. Whenever he drives at least a bit closer to Max's pace. What's up with that?
Because Max Verstappen is better than Checo. Did you not know that?
Yeah,
This is
but
where
it's every
everybody's
time.
people are holding Checo to a Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton level standard.
Bruv,
He's
it's
Checo.
because blame members of the craft who said he would challenge him in the clubhouse stage.
Yeah,
bruv. That's when my
all
agenda
them man
started.
hold that. All them man hold that. Because I laughed when you lot were saying that. And I'm a Checo fan, and I laughed. I'm like, you lot don't know Max Verstappen. And then how many race wins later? Oh yeah, congratulations, Max Verstappen, 14 wins this season alone.
It don't count, bruv. Like Mick said, yeah, we've added too many races. It don't count.
Hey, that's generational hate.
Yeah, but what about the percentages? Hey, listen, you know when you say there's too many races, it don't count. That puts Lewis in jeopardy. Don't do that.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't.
For race
No,
wins,
it
it does.
doesn't.
To Michael
Huh?
Schumacher, definitely does.
No, because Lewis racing like what? The maximum was like 19 when he won.
And when did he win the majority of his wins? How many races were there?
Yeah, but it was like 19. It's only like last year when it went up to like 20. In it?
20.
Michael Schumacher was in seasons where there were 16 races, bro.
Yeah, and what? So what? An extra 3. We're talking about extra 10
percentages
now.
here, man. We're talking about percentages
Yeah, you
here, man.
gotta look at percentage race wins. Yeah,
That's why percentages are more important than actual wins itself. So Max Verstappen, right now his percentage ain't all that right now. It's like 70 something. Even though
I
he's
don't
got
want to hear
14.
about percentages and conversions, please. Hey, Mahad, wrap up, man. I don't know any more about this conversion.
All right, listeners' questions, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
for
Oh,
sending
yeah.
in.
Oh, you're talking about pole conversions. Yeah. What's the
Yeah.
pole conversion?
Pole conversion.
Season, bro.
Absolute stinker, man. Charles Leclerc did his 100th race this weekend. He's only got a 5% conversion rate. Absolutely. And do you know what? Anik used to tell me last season, why is Max he's done so many races, he's only got 11 wins. What's going on with his percentage and so on? Charles, stinker, 5%, 100 races. When's it going to change, Anik?
Next year.
What's going down to 3%?
Don't kill me. All right, let's go through these listeners' questions, yeah? First of all, Kwame, yeah, you're in the chat right now, yeah? Why are you moving like a spam bot in the questions, bro? Hella questions just from you alone. You're on the cast, brother. Ask us in the group chat. Okay, first question. Which car brand that's not currently on the grid would you like to enter F1? I'll
BMW.
Out to the floor. BMW, is that your choice, yeah?
Yeah, BMW.
You as well, BMW.
Yeah, BMW, man. I'm a Mercedes hater.
Mm-hmm.
BMW for me.
I swear you own the Mercedes.
Yeah, I sold it. I've sold all the stocks in Mercedes.
That's how dedicated he is into the hate.
That's
Man sold a Mercedes. He sold his car. He said, I don't want a Mercedes. Throw it away. Chris, who would you want?
TFL.
Don't kill me. TFL,
Oh
you
my
know.
God.
Man says Sadiq Khan, team principal, you know. Lord have mercy. Somebody said Lamborghini or Skoda. What? That is a disparity and a half. Who wants to see Skoda in F1, man?
Skoda's still a brand. That's where they've been out of business.
Who's Skoda?
No, that was Saab. That was Saab. No.
Yeah, Saab.
All right, let's go next questions. at baby TTHLFA. Who do you think will be at Haas next season with Magnussen? Because it ain't gonna be me. Give us your choices. Who's partnering up with Haas?
If it's not Mick, yeah, I'm turning into a full-on Haas hater, bruv. Me and Ralph Schumacher link it up here, cooking them, man, bruv.
So you don't care who it is?
Visit. If it's Mick, I'll give him
Hulkenberg.
Nothing against Hulkenberg. I'm just not inspired. Like if you're gonna replace Mick, put someone who's gonna inspire me, bruv, and be interesting. You picking Hulkenberg's just like
it's a safe option.
Yes.
I mean, I know you want stability, but still, it's just
they don't want stability. They just want their car in a single piece when it comes up.
Let him be a family man. But let Hulkenberg be a family man.
Excitement, man. I can't lie. Like you what's the point?
Haas needs to leave S1. I'm gonna lie to you.
You need someone that's going to do something. Also, you're going to be looking like AlphaTauri, not AlphaTauri. What's the other
Alfa Romeo?
Yeah, that one.
Also, people need to stop quoting that graph made by Netbears on Reddit. Yeah, whenever Mick comes up and be like, "This is why he's out of F1, bruv." Stop that, bruv. Some random.
You need to stay afraid. Man's head is getting.
I was just gonna say that.
Hey, this guy's killing me. Hey, Chris 99472, on Reddit, man, just going ham for Mick Schumacher.
His head's getting hot by Reddit stories on TikTok. With the subway surfing in the background.
Oh my god, man's on French Reddit, I was on Baguette Twitter and French Reddit. Lord have mercy, just defending Mick. All right, let's go to the next question. Discuss this pace deficit. RBs weren't coping. Ferrari was in the mud. I don't know what that means. At Haas XYNY. Don't know what that means, bro.
Bro, they breached the cost cap. They're a faster car. If that's what he's gonna say. That's my answer.
That's your
he
answer.
Or she's gonna ask. That's my answer.
All right, let's rumble through these questions. At Uzair Saeed, shout outs to you, brother. Do you think Bottas would have finished higher if he bothered to attack or defend his position this weekend? That's slander.
Yeah, because he did, bruv. He was following Alonso for bare long. Didn't make one attempt. Got packed by Ocon, who was looking after his engine, and didn't make one attempt. Just fell backwards, bruv. No racecraft, bruv. I'm so happy he's not Hamilton's teammate no more. Jeez, Lou.
Scary.
I think he could have got Alonso.
I'll tell you one thing: Hamilton would have had a win if Bottas was his teammate this season.
Boy,
excuse me.
You hear that?
What race? What race?
The race where George snaked him.
What, the one where Hamilton clicked the wrong switch? You know Hamilton clicked the wrong switch and was down on power the race at the safety car restart.
Do you know
what, Zandvoort,
race that?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a hell no. What's going on?
What do you think Max got past him so quick?
Brake management part 2. What's going on here?
That's why Max got him past him so fast. It's one of the ones where it's like, so Bottas would have definitely tried to make the move, and then they definitely both ain't winning the race.
Wait, was that the same race?
Yeah.
Wait, no, with the tires, and he had to go through.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do remember Hamilton pressing the wrong button or something like that. I do remember hearing that.
But we just ignore it because we love Lewis. But George didn't snake.
He's had too many bozo moments this season.
And also, Mercedes had enough time in Zandvoort to pit Lewis and George. There was enough of a gap, and they didn't do it. Instead, they do it in Japan where there wasn't a gap. I hate these guys so much, bro.
All right, we're gonna do 2 more questions, guys. Question from Kwame BQ: How good will Audi be? Do you think?
I think they'll be ass.
Finger in the air. How long's a piece of string? I don't know, bro. I don't know. If they're coming to the sport, obviously they're gonna come in. They're gonna put a lot of R&D investment into it. I think they'll be good. Would there be another Mercedes?
they have a cap on how much they can spend on it. So I think they're going to come in. They're going to be mid-table at best.
No, but whilst they're not in the sport, they can spend.
No, even now, like because they're putting their intent, I think they've still got like a cost cap they still have to deal with because all the people who are planning to be in 2026 have to present their engines by a certain time. And they have to do it within like a certain cost cap as well. So it's not like they can spend so much money right now. And when 2026 comes, that they'll be able to just like develop it and show this massive engine that they have. So there is a cap on the development, but it is going to be more than what the heritage teams have because obviously they're new into the sport. So them and Porsche will have like a bigger budget to spend, but it won't be that much more.
To be honest,
Because there's no point in them coming in if they're going to be mid. Let's be honest. There's no point in them coming in.
Branding. Like, they're going to be mid. They have the spirit of Sauber. You know how AlphaTauri still have the spirit of Minardi, Aston Martin still have the spirit of Jordan and what you call it, and Force India and Spiker in them. Well, you can change the branding, but the spirit of the team remains the same. You still use the same factory, the same people. Nothing's going to change, man.
Aston Martin's going to change. They've got too much bread. Their facilities are crazy. No, the money they're spending on their facilities and stuff like that. I think Audi already has facilities.
Yeah.
But didn't Toyota spend bare money? And they did nothing.
Yeah, and then they left, and then Braun picked up the pieces and won a bloody title.
Honda. Toyota left with nothing.
Oh, Toyota. I thought I got confused with Honda. Yeah, you're right. Toyota, yeah. Howler. Toyota had a Howler. I remembered. God Lord. All right, listen. Last question.
Kobayashi, man.
Hey, listen, these questions, Anik, people are on you, you know.
Why?
So, did Anik watch the race last night? They just ask you questions like, did you watch the race or do you watch it via stats? They're on you, man. You're gonna read that.
No, listen. For the record, a Formula One race, I plan out. Like I drink coffee. I eat prunes or whatever, so I can go toilet or whatever. So I'm clean, ready to go to watch the race. No breaks, nothing. I watch Formula One like a religion. I promise you. You know what? Back at the start of the season, I had 3 screens up. I'm not even joking. I subscribed to live time.
I said 3 screens.
Listen,
when Ferrari was cooking, beginning of the season, you don't care about that shit. Nah, he's watching his phone.
Bro, I was bringing up engine oil. I was bringing up tire degradation. I knew when the guy was pitting. I knew when he was leaving. I knew that Guan Yu Zhou was able to overtake Lewis Hamilton on this lap. I knew everything, bro. I was on it. I was absolutely on it. To be fair, I still am. I still watch it. But yeah, man, in my heyday, I had 3 screens up. I had one actually watching the race. I had one with the live timing, and I had another one with the radio chats.
And then he had another screen, just a picture of Jordan Henderson. That's just a picture of Jordan Henderson just there. You get me? Last question, guys. I think it's a good question. At Ducks on Quack 9, top 5 all-time F1 terrorists.
Pastor Maldonado has to be up there.
100% he's up there.
He's the GOAT.
I think Michael as well.
Michael.
Roman Grosjean pre-therapy.
Grosjean pre-therapy. Don't kill me.
Bro, Doug P12 first laps, yeah.
Didn't Glock crash a lot?
Why do you always know if a F1 driver's been therapy or not? You said it about George. He would be the therapy.
Because what do you call it? Because man talked about therapy, bro. He said
he's
that after Spa 2012.
On Reddit.
Le therapy. I think Stroll's making a name for himself.
Yeah, but I don't think he's top 5 yet.
I think Bottas as well.
No, Bottas. Do you know what? That's a fault. Do you know why? Because Bottas has the least incidences, like over the last since he's been in F1.
Remember Hungary last year?
Yeah,
but what about Hungary last year?
That was because Toto activated the brain in his chip in his brain. Is like activates, and then man just crashed into everybody. Bowling ball things. You get me? So someone said Pastor Maldonado. Michael Schumacher was, man. Come on, man. Yeah, you can't even deny this.
No,
he tried to win a championship.
Lewis had 1 season of being a terrorist and then he retired. 2011 was a terrorist.
Him and Massa.
2011, him and Massa.
This is terrorism at its finest.
Rolls.
I think they. I think they.
Oh,
enjoyed
Max's
it.
dad and Max. You know the Verstappen family.
Oh no,
they
Max's
go
dad
wild.
was a terrorist as well. Still.
There's
Yeah.
loads of terrorists out there.
Yeah, there's loads of them. There's loads of them. But yeah, thank
All I'm
you
gonna
guys
say-
for watching. Go on, Anik.
Some of the cast trying to apply that terrorism on track as well. Just put it out.
Oh yeah, guys, if you want to know, Chris tried to kill me in karting.
No. Alec went under the tire. Alec caused a red flag, bruv.
Anik called a red flag in karting. I saw tires in the air, and and then he'll tweet that fastest guy.
Fastest guy in pit stop.
He's so lucky
I-
when they give you the camera, bruv.
Bro,
You hurt innocent people.
I apologize for.
Well, Chris was just trying to kill me for no reason. Because I was just trying to overtake him. He's like, nah.
Bruv, I'm like George
Close-
Russell. I
closing this
don't
door.
win it, bruv. Yeah, you know how George took outside, isn't it? Yeah.
Lord, someone said Kvyat. I don't think Kvyat was a terrorist.
I think
he
Timo
repeated.
Glock. Timo Glock as well, man.
Do you know who is on the low and people don't clock? Science. Science will
No,
put you in the wall, you know.
no, I don't.
It's the same way that
Ooh.
Science has bozo moments, bruv. He has a strong bozo gene. He'll go for like 5 clean races, then have one race with just the bozo gene just activates, and it's nasty.
Yeah, it's nasty. But anyways, guys, we're gonna end the pod. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody like this video.
Peace.
Show us love. You get me? If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, give us a like, give us a review. Follow us on Pitstop Fracas on Twitter. Follow us on Pitstop Fracas on Instagram. Follow us on Pitstop Fracas on TikTok. And if you need any F1 merch, please look at the description and use our link for fanatics.com.
Alonso
right
might soon to be on discount next year when Stroll retires him.
He's got a 3-year contract, mate. Anyways,
Stroll will retire him next year.
no, he won't.
Yes, he will.
Can I just end the pod, please?
I'm like Batso Raven. I've got the vision.
Oh, whatever, man. Listen, you didn't have the vision.
I've got the vision.
Stop that. All right. Peace out, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
Batso Raven.